Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Hearts of Iron 4. Now I said we were going to do a Chile campaign, and that's what we're going to do today, but it's not going to be just any Chile campaign. We're going to be going for the most difficult and the most unusual of the different branches available in the new focus tree, one that goes completely against all the ethos I've established on this channel. I am, of course, talking about the Crusade against imperialism. You see, in the latest DLC, Chile got a new focus tree. It's massive and potentially kind of overpowered in a lot of ways. You can stack a lot of modifiers. One of the smallest and seemingly insignificant branches available is right over here, addressing the Mapuche conflict with the natives in the south of Chile. See, there's a vision for this country, in fact, for all of North and South America. These continents have suffered under the yoke of European colonizers for centuries. They sailed across the ocean, they overthrew the indigenous populations and their governments, and they set up their own quaint little states with European cultures. And I look at that and say, that's problematic. We dream of a world free of European oppressors. We will tear down the nations of these imperialists, and we will lead a crusade that liberates the indigenous populations of each of these countries and hands it back to their rightful owners. If this goes according to plan, we're going to create some of the most unusual borders I have ever seen for this game, but it should be really fun. The problem is, as Chile, we're going to be antagonizing the Allies, and most importantly, the United States. And we can't join any factions ourselves, I'm pretty sure, which means we're doing all of this alone, as Chile. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. It all begins with looking to tradition, get some of that political power up and a-running. You see we have some terrible national spirits that are crushing me right now. Recruitable population is down, war support's down, we're gonna have even more penalties there. Political power goes down, stability is down, fascism's on the rise, and in general, the Chilean economy is in shambles. Everything is truly atrocious. Let's go ahead and start by picking up some research speed as well as some production speed. And then the other thing you need to think about is in order to liberate the Mapuche people and lead this crusade, we are going to be triggering a civil war. On top of everything else, because why the heck not? That means we're only going to start with 3 states. These down here are the only states we are going to get when we start the Civil War, which means I might as well build some infrastructure because there's no point in trying to build any civilian factories. We will not finish them in time. We've also got only 2 military factories. It's all terrible. Not to mention we have abysmal war support and stability. Ugh, God. Not a good start for us. Oh yeah, and we also have our own versions of Chilean Nazis who are trying to gather support because they want to start off a coup in 969 days. Just when you think things can't get any worse. It's fine though, we're actually gonna be firing off a coup of our own. Let's get back over here since the tree consolidated. There we go. Ibáñez's coup d'etat. Okay, this guy is going to swing things dramatically toward non-aligned and become the general president. Let's go ahead and set up our troops down over here, by the way, since I imagine we are gonna have that problem pretty soon. And I might want to go for a naval invasion and just go ahead and plan on this around Santiago and just try to cut off some of the troops that will be defending this area, because when we end up fighting against, well, the proper Chilean government as the Mapuche people, yeah, we're going to have a hard time. We're going to have a really hard time because they're going to have most of the troops and I'm going to be extremely weak. If I can cut off a few of them and maybe grab Santiago and cut off their supply and take out their front line, that's going to make my life a heck of a lot easier. And around the time that we have remilitarized the Rhineland, the Ibáñez's coup is done. All right, so let's go ahead and swing things around. And now non-aligned gets a lot more powerful. How we went from like 3% up to 60% doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally. It's like one guy storms into the Capitol and all of a sudden everyone who supported democracy is like, you know what, you're right, democracy does suck. Weird. Anyway, let's go ahead and abreast the conflict. Now this is gonna lead toward the Civil War. It's also gonna create Mapuche nationalism, which is a bonus we'll be able to make more powerful and lasts for the rest of the game. It's really quite good. See, with this done, I can show you what I mean here. So we got a few different things we can work toward, all of which are gonna progress toward the Civil War in some way and build up that bonus. So for example, modify nationalism permanently to give me extra factory output and consumer goods reduction for the rest of the game. Okay, but it takes 70 days to do that, right? So you have to trade off, do I want a permanent long-term benefit or do I want to, and by delaying the Civil War, or do I want to just skip this and rush it? Some of these are not required. You only need one of these 3, for example, to move on. So, I don't know. There's something to be said about actually skipping some things and trying to go fast. The one thing I don't think I can skip is undermining the Carabineros de Chile over here, which is going to prevent my enemy, Ibáñez, from getting additional troops when the Civil War does begin. So that makes my life a lot easier. I think this one's non-negotiable. Sociedad here, this one's not negotiable either. I want that 10% recruitable factor for the rest of the game. It's so good because I'm going to be really short on manpower for pretty much ever. So I really, really want to have that. We could also consider going for this Mapuche traditionalist as an advisor. This guy gets me a lot of extra unaligned support and some stability and war support, which is nice. Though, to be honest, I'm going to be losing so much stability and war support and stuff soon anyway, it doesn't matter that much. But I'll pick it up because I would like to start building up that non-aligned, kind of keep that shored up for when I take over. And it'll be nice to just have a strong political base. Okay, with this out of the way, let's go ahead and do the undermining. 35 days for that one. Going for the Moderna Araucania over here would get me a permanent 10% research speed boost, not to mention some more political power. Very, very strong. Definitely want to get this one. Union Araucana doesn't sound that important, so the compliance gain normally is actually not a bad thing, especially if you're going to go on mass conquest. But my particular strategy in this game is going to revolve around rapidly conquering my neighbors and then releasing them as puppets with their indigenous populations, which means I'm not planning on holding on to a ton of territory. So compliance gain is not as important as it was before. So I think we'll end up skipping this one. It's really a question of, do I want either of these? Yeah, we're gonna skip this. Let's go ahead and convene the Araucanian Congress over here. This is gonna present us with some choices. Do we work with the communists or no? Well, considering Ibanez is currently outlawing socialism, I don't think that it's gonna help me much. If I were to work with the communists. They're not going to be around for much longer. Yeah, we could do this, giving them more power, and I think the way this is supposed to work is it triggers a small communist civil war around the same time that we have ours. But I've had some test games where that has not really worked out, and it may have something to do with this. So I think we're not going to compromise our ideals, all right? I agree that, anti-imperialism is important, and you'd think we want to work with everyone who agrees with that goal, but no. We're not compromising our ideals. I'm saving the political power and I'm keeping the war support, and we're not going to work with the communists because it just doesn't seem to work consistently. Let's, by the way, go ahead and form some local defensive groups. 35 days, lose a lot of stuff. Okay, fine. But for the first year of the Civil War, we have more organization, defense, and terrain penalty reduction. We could also go ahead and move up to limited conscription law. Why not? I need to start building up that manpower. All right, my manpower sucks. This guy's going to be effectively like our president or whatever when we eventually do win the Civil War. So do we want to go for a guy who gives us extra attack and defense on core territory? Good for the Civil War, not really good if I plan on actually expanding beyond that. Attack and defense for everybody is pretty good, and then of course we could go for stability and war support. Now the only reason I would consider the war support guy is if it helps me cross a threshold where I can get to things like war economy a little bit faster. I don't know if it works out that way. If it turns out we're a little shy, that'll answer the question. But regardless, I know the attack and defense for the rest of the game is going to be just downright good. So, all right, so now the question is, do we just go ahead and trigger the war now, or do we try to build up our support anymore? I think we're going to go ahead and trigger the Civil War. And here goes nothing. All right, so we immediately pause. We've got a navy. I'm going to go ahead and try to consolidate these guys as much as we think we can. And my goal is to do naval invasion support of this area, so I will be able to do a launch. They're currently sitting on the territory that I want over here. So I don't know, maybe we can get in there, maybe we can't. I've got some extra units down over here. I need to send these guys up as fast as we can. We're going to strategically redeploy like so. I have one cavalry who is currently dedicated to the naval invasion. I'm going to send my remaining units to come and grab some of this territory as fast as we can. So we have a slightly further forward defensive point. And then hopefully we can launch something over here that works. All right, so going back to our national focuses, these options are now completely removed. We're not going to go back to them. So let's revise some social classes to get myself some extra recruitable population, consumer goods factor, and so on. So that seems pretty good. I'm going to set to cavalry defense. Do we launch now? I wait for this guy to move first. I think by the time that we arrive, this guy should have left. Let's go ahead and launch it. Okay, cavalry on the way. Please tell me you're going to land in time. Ah! Dang it. All right, hang on. Somebody arrived. I don't think I can fight that. Go ahead and pull back. Let them do their thing. All right, so we got these territories. So yeah, if I pull back, do we think that maybe I could find a way to sneak in here any faster, or will they just pin me down? It's really hard to say. Oh, there's another soldier over here I completely missed. Hello. I'm going to start trying to get myself a small planning bonus where I can. Troops have arrived. Let's get their organization up, then we need to start attacking. I don't necessarily know if I want to launch the naval invasion right now. That's the thing. If I get pinned here, like if they have troops here and here, they could kill my unit off, but if I can get here, I cut off their reinforcements. So I really need this port, really. If I can just take this one territory, I'd be able to flank this in a way that I would feel pretty stable. Let's try counterattacking this guy while he's stuck here. We'll try to hit him here. But the problem is, in this territory, I've got, like, absolutely atrocious soft attack. I'm not overcoming his defense. I'm going to be in pain, and my logistics are terrible. Might be a good time to actually go buy something from the international market. Not a thing I do very often, but wouldn't be bad. Yeah, let's go ahead and just buy some guns, and hopefully that helps a little bit. Could up our conscription law. Could try going for some sort of a leader. Division attack, 10%. Yeah, I have to take that. Every bonus I can get right now helps. And then I'm going to keep these guys pinned as much as I can, and don't let them get their organization back up. And then, now maybe we go ahead and launch our naval invasion and try to flank. If there's no one defending up here, we can run into Santiago and just cut these guys off. If there is, it's going to be a little bit tougher, but these guys can't go anywhere because I'm currently pinning them down. There we go, got it, run into Santiago. Oh, nope, wait, they are pinning me down. Darn it, okay. So these guys are now stuck, but we have a slight advantage. If we can keep this up, we're okay. But he's bringing in reinforcements from up north. That's gonna be a problem. Okay, we have to hope that we can win one of these fights quickly to get in here and pin these guys down so that they can't kill me, because I got nowhere to run here. Better yet, if he literally just gives up his attack right now. There we go, we're in Santiago, hello. All right. Now with Santiago, these guys are in trouble. Let's go ahead and flank these guys as fast as we can, and then try to take out this port. Once I take out the port, I'm in a much better spot. Ooh, a 15% research guy. Don't mind if I do. Well, let's adopt Mapudungun. Stability, political power, doesn't matter an absolute ton. The problem is they're just gonna keep siphoning units back up here into these mountains. Like, we really needed to stop these guys from sending more reinforcements over and getting this port. That was so important. Come on, we can get ourselves some doctrines, I guess. Almost. Grand Battle Plan would probably help quite a bit, actually, because that is something we have an advisor for, but we'll come back to that one. So, do we want to go for the agricultural fields and get consumer goods reduction? Or do we want to boost up our factory output? So, with consumer goods not being as good as they used to be, I'm kind of inclined to think that maybe indigenous corporatism is the right way to go, but what other options do we have? Focus on the cattle and wool. Attrition goes down, supply consumption goes down. It's not bad in South America. Or we could have the textiles and just get 2 more civilian factories. Tell you what, I'm gonna go for the agricultural fields. No, well, yeah, we're just gonna go for this for the long-term supply benefits. That still might be the right call. All right, now we're about to get these mountains, join things up, perfect. And now we can try to hit these guys from more directions and start flanking the port. Trying to debate if it's worth trying to go for another naval invasion. Maybe we say, hey, your troops are stuck here and you can't go anywhere. How many more troops do we think they have? They might have more. They probably have more. But if I did a naval invasion up over here, took a port, we could try to surround and push down this way. Or, if they don't respond, push up to Antofagasta, take the last victory points, and then they lose. I'm gonna go ahead and send my cavalry down here. Let's give it a go. Okay, Japan declared their war. We could actually try to do a flanking attack here and see if we can cut these guys off. That'd be ideal because then I really do have free reign to move around. But if it looks like this is not going well, we turn around and we just start walking north, take whatever we can. Actually, hold on. They've got low organization here. Are they pulling back? Because if they're pulling back, I'm taking this right now. Yeah. They're having to pull back right here. Hold on. We're about to get the port. That changes a few things, I think. Unless... Where are you guys going? Because they're not retreating. Are they actually... Oh! Chile was annexed! Hey! That worked! Alright, that was unexpected. I'm not really sure why that worked as effectively as it did, but we did win it! Hooray! Okay, so that leaves Argentina. So now, we need equipment and we need troops. I need to train up a handful of these guys, quick. Got more factories I can put into guns, which I will do for now, just so I have them. I will go ahead and grab... Oh, I lost my... Oh, I don't get the theorist anymore? Well, that sucks. All right, I guess I can do whatever doctrine I want. Well, let's go ahead and pick up partial mobilization, for sure. That's worth it at this point. So now we've got at least 9 factories that we're working with. We can stop building so much infrastructure. That's no longer as important. Let's go ahead and start building out some civilian factories, just a few more of these. Follow that up with mills. So now we just kind of are in a new build-up phase, all right? I gotta get some troops. I gotta reorganize what I've currently got. I gotta shore up all of my factories, etc. We're not going to war for at least a little bit. All right, I got to get down a few more of these in order to make that one work. Because right over here is our option to declare war on Argentina. We need this one right here. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and get some consumer goods reduction even further with silver working. 15% is not inconsequential. That's still pretty good. And we haven't even got the 1936 guns yet. My God. Yeah, it's 1937 and we are still so far behind. I'm just lucky that my neighbors are also going to be far behind. Somehow we have to ramp this into a victory against the United freaking States? The timing of this is what's going to be critical. It's one of the reasons I wanted to go fast on the Civil War, to give myself more buffer. Because if we try to attack the United States at a time when they are not actively fighting against Germany and Japan, they're going to have so many troops here that I'll never be able to take them. And let's see what else. Organization, we could go for some legacy things. All this is good. So we get a lot of cavalry bonuses in some of this. It may not be a bad idea to go very heavy into cavalry this game. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to end up doing two things. We're going to go for cavalry-heavy armies, and we're going to go for some mountaineers early on. And with mountaineers, I'm hoping that maybe we treat them as kind of early game tanks. I don't really do much with spec forces, if I'm honest. I know they got reworked, and I've never really been doing much with them, but we start with mountaineer tech, so that could be good. And then, of course, there are the special forces doctrines, which just make mountaineers that much better. And get rangers and stuff, too. So, like, maybe we want to go down this route. Maybe we want to try messing with those. Quite possibly. Do I want to go for things like superior firepower? I don't have any meaningful amount of artillery. So at the moment, this is not helpful. It will be helpful eventually, though. Do we want to go for Grand Battle Plan instead? It's okay if you want to go for a lot of the... Yeah, I mean, this isn't bad. We could go down this route. On the other hand, what if we did something really weird? What if I went down mobile warfare? This isn't the right call. It's totally not the right call, but could we do it? Could it be fun? Because I'm never going to get tanks. It's just not going to happen. But I really need to rely heavily on speed to take down opponents, if I can break through things. This can't be the right call. It can't be. No, it can't be. I think we have to go down things like superior firepower. I know it's boring, okay? I'm aware, but I think it needs to be done. I think it does. This actually stacks up well with my cavalry specialist too, by the way. I don't know. It feels like it's the wrong choice, honestly, but like, how often do you see a cavalry game? It's not common. All right, I think that takes care of what I care about over there. Let's go ahead and start working toward the war. We're gonna go with the Patagonian Giants. Just permanent more attack and defense and breakthrough. Do you guys remember the days when Japan had like a really powerful like 10% attack and defense and everyone's like, it's one of the best modifiers in the game? Do you guys remember those days? I remember those days. Ever since then though, people have, I think very accurately, been talking about like minor nation like scope creep. Where, yeah, big nations like Japan, move over. Chile or Brazil's got you beat. I feel like minors need to be made minor again, you know what I mean? I understand why Paradox has been doing what they're doing. It is admittedly a fun way to play the game with this kind of alternate history, but it definitely takes away a bit from the actual World War II scenario. Like, is this still supposed to be a World War II game, or is this effectively just like EU4 in the 1930s and 40s? Which is kind of what it feels like it's turning into. Again, I'm having fun with that, but I see why people don't like it. Okay, all right, ready to go ahead and work toward war? I think we are. So for quite a long time, we're gonna get the extra attack and defense on core territory. And we get a bunch of cores, which we will be taking out of this. Now, at the end of the day, I think that Argentina, I'm still gonna be releasing a chunk of them as some sort of a puppet. I think that comes in the form of decisions. But keeping a few extra states with some factories, hopefully, will... I don't know, it's gonna ramp up my economy. Sometimes conquest is the easiest way to ramp up your economy. It's just how it is. And God knows I need factories. 4 factories still is just atrocious. I know I'm trying to get these civilian factories up. We've gotta build ourselves a little bit, but holy crud. I can't believe in 1938 I have a 35% research bonus though. I mean, I don't have enough like research slots, so I'm still behind all the major powers, but like, 35% at this stage of the game is pretty darn good. Frick me. This is gonna be a very ugly war, there's just no way around it. But I've got 17 divisions, not all of them very well trained, but I have them. So the war begins, and I'm gonna take the cavalry to make an immediate push toward things like Buenos Aires and see if we can grab key victory points. I need all of these to end the war rapidly. I'm basically also going to abandon the south down here because I'll lose a few victory points, but I don't really care that much. It's not a big deal. More important, I just hold this ground over here. We'll just pin them down where we can. Go, 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 cavalry. Go, go, go. Surround what you can. Go, go, go. And as far as what we do next, I don't really care about that much about getting the Union of American Indigenous People right now. Supplies and attrition could be okay, but let's focus on the economy. So, what do I want to do here? I think the only things that are truly locked out are mine networks, resource gains, and loans, and also trade relations with all my neighbors. Or we could go for expanding forestry, which actually, hold on, my head's in the way, I just realized. Max factories and state, 30%. That's a new industrial concern. I'd have to spend the political power to swap out what I've got right now, but 30% in this game where I'm kind of gonna have to build tall, because I'm not gonna have a lot of land myself, that could be relevant. I really feel like the 30% max factories is a thing that we're gonna need later in the game. Not now, not for a while, but eventually, and if that's the case, that decides we're gonna go for public works. All right, I'm committing to it. Let's make it happen. My cavalry are going as fast as they freaking can. As fast as their little legs will carry them. Whee! Come on, come on, come on. There's just a few more victory points to grab. I don't even know how close they are necessarily to dying, but they gotta be getting closer. Cavalry are so dang fast. It really is helping. They're trying to take Buenos Aires back. That's fine. We're gonna send the cavalry down here. We won't get there fast enough, but we can try fighting over it. How close are you to dying here? Come on. Only 78% after all of that? I've grabbed so many victory points and it's still only 78 freaking percent? Ugh. Oh, finally. Okay, that war went a lot harder than I thought it was going to. Okay. So now we have to decide, am I taking all this land or am I puppeting some of it? So we have cores. I think on these four, yeah, those 4 territories. So I'm definitely taking those, no doubt about it. Let's definitely take their navy as well. Submit those demands. So what do I do with the rest of this? Do I puppet it or do I take it for myself? Because I could really use some factories. I think in this case I might just take it for myself. I need some sort of a power base or I'm not going to be able to do anything from here on out, right? So the Mapuche state is going to be this, and it probably isn't going to get much bigger than this for the rest of the game, if I'm completely honest with you. I did manage to grab war economy and the extensive conscription before the war ended. Don't think I caught that on camera, but we have that. So at least I've got those going for me. So the war was actually very profitable in that sense. And now we can invite Brazil into a faction with me. Do I want to invite Brazil into my faction, the Union of American Indigenous Peoples? We could, and then use them to bully neighbors, and then kick them out, and then eat them, and then free them. Yes, that works. I will now unlock Crusade against Imperialism, which is going to make it very easy for me to very rapidly set up a whole bunch of war goals. So I can start attacking everyone around, including people like Uruguay. I still feel like I want to try adding in some mountaineers in a few places. If I did this, it doesn't cost me really anything except for like some infantry equipment, which I feel like is a completely reasonable thing to do. Maybe that is something I do. Maybe I start trying to shuffle this out with as many mountaineers as possible. Get those extra attack bonuses in hills and mountains and stuff. Oh, and the Spanish Civil War finally ended. Okay, I guess that kind of puts me on par with what I was hoping for time. 1938, looking good. And actually now might be a good place to go ahead and end this video. It's hard to tell how long it's been. I had to do quite a few reloads as I made some mistakes and kind of learned from them as I went. So we got at least a decent start down here. That is something. Now we're gonna have to start fighting everyone around us. Brazil I will use for as long as I feel like I can, and the moment they don't serve my purposes, we go ahead and kick them from the faction and start killing them. So I'll use them to fight against Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Peru. Then we probably attack them. That's what I'm thinking, but we'll kind of play that one by ear. Once I get a whole bunch of puppets up here in South America, we'll turn our attention to Central America, and then eventually the United States. Got a long way to go with this one. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous, and we haven't even started freeing all the indigenous peoples yet. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're looking forward to this series of Hearts of Iron 4 with the Mapuche state. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure that notified bell, and I will see you guys next time.